Mhm. Mhm. Good evening, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Evening with Roxanne. I am Roxanne, your host. Here on Odyssey of Ascension, we talk about spirituality and want to talk about a little idea today. Always come up with evolutionary ideas because that is my goal, is to evolve myself back to my nature, which is a creator, a God. And when I first started in the old beeswax and in the spiritual world, I was very hesitant to say a lot of the things in front of a lot of different people. And well, because you know why? I'll tell you why. It's because I cared. Now I want you to welcome Dave, welcome Alex, Katya, yes, and Smitty's here. Hi, baby doll. So I cared. I cared what they thought about me, and sometimes I cared that I didn't want to offend them. And I look at my years of evolving and tie them back to a particular idea called caring. Now there is something about caring. It's a very lively word. It's got a lot of layers to it and a lot of angles and a lot of depth because it matters in a lot of different ways. If you don't care, you're a psychopath or a sociopath. You have no feelings, and that's the farthest from the truth. Of course, you have feelings, but you have a relationship difference. I feel my life every day. What I do is I'm a creator, and I create experience, and how I experience is interpreted. So it is the way I feel about life. Okay? The interpretation of the physical reality is all done through a relationship. And I and really, really dug into in this last week. I had some things that really showed me if you keep holding on to caring about in different ways. I'm going to get to something for all of you ones about this. Good, Alex. I'm glad you go through this and understand it. You have an ability to care. It's not, look, just because I transcended guilt doesn't mean I don't have lost the ability to feel guilty. I just don't choose that truth anymore. And in the moments, a caring idea is a different relationship. It goes from caring to charity. Now, I want you to understand charity. Charity is not giving in the way that you would think today's fashion of charity work is. Okay, to help the less fortunate and give money to a charity. In organizations, and these are wonderful organizations and they're very human. Go for it, have a good time. I'm talking about the charity that is birthed from love and the birth from what was written in parts of the Bible. Again, I'm a big believer in the Bible in some ways and a non-believer in other ways. And there's also, I have a lot of knowings about the Bible. Now, if I have a relationship of a belief, I got to look at my belief and I got to turn it into a knowing, or I got to release that idea as valid. And then I don't have to mess around with polarity because belief isn't couched in polarity because it always has opposing sides. So working through the Bible idea, one thing that I found as a knowing is the relationship that talked about charity in the Bible. So if someone is in need, the moment comes up, and there's not sympathy, there's no empathy, there's no sorrow. I don't feel bad for them. They're not in need. It's just a simple relationship of charity. And that's when I act. And that works beautifully. It really does. It's wonderful. And so, but I learned about. I was watching myself and the little tiny idiosyncrasy behaviors every day that we would consider natural are very human, and they have tethers in the relationship of caring. And caring is a relationship, okay? And immediately in my advanced classes, we've been doing some great fucking work. Sly and the gang been doing great work with vibration. And as soon as you posture and approach to the moment, you approach the moment, you have a posture about it, caring, everything changes. Your whole world changes. The human mind is looking for decorations to change. They're looking for something monumental, markable, notable. It's not it. It's a series of nouns that create your life. And you have to be present in the moment and realize that absolute vibrational relationship you're having with your bubble of reality, your mirror to reflect back to you. Again, it's not right or wrong what you choose. Caring does not give you negative results. Sometimes it might, but that's interpreted as negative. Caring only gives you the vibration of that encompassing truth in a reflection. And whatever is possible within that frequency structure will remain. You won't go beyond it in that moment until you shift your frequency to another moment and enact a different idea of reality. And then you won't feel the idea of caring reinforced in the mirror. Right? Dave says, Wendy Wolf and I just found notes she took from one of your sessions in 2014-ish about Ra, Aquarius, and a bunch of the other synchronicities with the equinox and balance. Oh, that's awesome. Wendy Wolf, tell her I said hello. Very good. So, I get on here on YouTube and I have to think, what am I going to do? Well, now I don't have to think anymore what I'm going to do because I don't care. Because if I cared, I'm structuring myself to be acceptable to the audience member coming into the stream, having the idea of giving me a view, joining me live, and they want something. So I think they want something, and I want to give them something. So I have a care for your guys' time and your consideration of joining me. Well, doesn't that change me? It changes versions of me. Because then I come up with thoughts of what to talk about. And because it's birth and caring, it's going to be that frequency and that remaining idea. It's not right or wrong, again, but we're talking about evolution here and quality of speaking. So tonight, since I didn't care, I feel better. I do. It feels wonderful. Because it releases you from so many obligations. I washed my hair on Thursday. I wash it once a week, every Thursday. So I washed it Thursday, but I didn't brush it. And I didn't care that I didn't brush it. And that was very strange for me because I got this beautiful brush. A friend of mine bought me this brush. It's this brush from Britain, and it's $200 freaking dollars, and it's an outstanding brush. I never realized how awesome a brush can be on your hair. And it's a wonderful brush. So I decided not to brush it because I just didn't care how it looked. And and that showed me so much about myself. You remember when I was a kid and when you were a kid? Okay, and then we're taking subjectively here, so I don't know if you can relate to this, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, because again, I don't care. So I always felt I was on stage. So no matter what I did, I had a view in my head of an audience, this made-up audience of God was definitely there, because I was afraid of God. God was a scary motherfucker in my household. He was coming for you. And then with God came guilt because I have to watch. And then my parents were there, even though they weren't physically in the room. In my mind, I created this echo of these people up there. And whatever I did, I'm on stage. And I'm on stage, and there's no one else on stage, and the spotlight's on me. Now, I lived that way probably for about 50 years, a long fucking time. That every movement always had a background thought of judgment, I got rid of God somewhere in my 30s. I got rid of that shit because I just couldn't do it anymore. That was a good one. The outside God, the big angry God that loves you but is going to kill you anyway. So that understanding in the last few days, when you don't care, you don't stop caring about life. That's where the ego goes. That's where people think you're just going to let yourself go and you don't care. So that's depression. The absence of caring is a freedom to allow you to produce yourself in an exalted way that is birthed solely from the internal notion I am, the unknown self, I like to call. Because that's where the drive comes from. The will is birthed without this filter of intention. And my pure will that's now unfiltered gives me these ideas and these movements in behavioral aspects in reality that give me a freedom unfounded. Never had it before like this. And it's really good. I want you to have that. I want you to have that freedom. I've talked about that in here. We're not free in the United States. We're free from a king and tyranny, we're free from a couple different ideas. But we have violence. We're not free from violence. We're not free from obligations. Hello, language. Languages of lights. Hello, darling. We're not free from responsibilities on this planet. Okay, we still have to do these things. So here, let me give you this. I have to make a living. So I come on here, I do this. Some folks out there, every now and again, send me a donation. I get supported, right? Oh, hi, Wendy. Oh my gosh, that is Wendy. Yes, that's right. Great to see you, darling. So I get donations. I have my classes, which is my main idea of income. And every now and again, someone wants to have a session with me. So we'll do that. Lucia, hi, darling. So I have a responsibility because I have to pay the rent. My boyfriend is on Social Security, has been since he's 17 because he's been diagnosed by the state with autism and unable to make money. So we get a little bit of money from there. And I do mean a little. I don't know how anyone else can survive on that. So anyways, we get a little bit of money from there, and the rest is my responsibility. So that's a weight. So I have an obligation to earn money so we can live in this wonderful apartment that I've moved myself up to. Bigger washer and dryer in the house. My first washer and dryer since 2016. When I moved in here last year. And the rest I've been doing by hand. I would have this plunger like this, and then a spin dryer I bought on Amazon, and a clothes hanger in the spare bedroom. And that's how I did my laundry. So I evolved. And what happened is when I shed the responsibility, it's a fear. It's a fear is what it is. So I better be responsible or I have a loss. So I'm afraid of the loss, so I better be responsible and I better earn some money. So I better be a good fucking teacher. So here I am doing my best, channeling, teaching, and doing my love, and I get a vibration in return. That's the mirror with all the people that support me. Wonderful, thank you so much. But I have a responsibility, and there's tension in there. But what happens if I don't see it as a responsibility? That I trust the now, that all the abundance I need to pay for the bills every single time, every moment there's a requirement for form of exchange of money. And we're going to talk about money because we're a society. We're still money. Don't get rid of money until money is ready to transcend itself. When humanity transcends money a couple thousand years from now. Right now, it's not taboo. Don't make it shitty. Don't make a relationship. It's a cup of water. Okay, it's created. All right, it's a lemon balm tea. It's created. So change that relationship. Do that work, and it gets real easy. So the abundance flows in because I'm not afraid. Because in the now, over the years, I learned to trust by releasing the responsibility, and I was keeping around obligation because I wanted to give Tommy a great life. Because I had, listen to me, I had sympathy. When I first met Tommy, when he gave me that call, he melted my heart. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall in love with this guy. This is it. The very first day I met him in the physical realm, I borrowed my friend's car when I was living with Jenny. Those who've been with long enough, Jenny and Damien at their house. I borrowed the car to take Tommy to the HEB store, the big one, and I had some extra money, and I'm going to sneeze. That's a big one. So we were unpacking the car, taking the food in because he's eating. He's eating. Now I'm feeling for him because I'm not that evolved at this time. He's eating oatmeal and frozen blueberries. That's it. That's it. He does his wash in a bin. You know, they're wash and dryers in his neighborhood, and there's paint falling off his walls, and it's like 400 square foot. And I moved in with him. I cared for him. I wanted to give him a life. From 17 until, I don't know how long we've been together, 17, so 50. Until he was 50, he was on his own, okay, living that way. I wanted to have him the other side of life. I wanted to get him clothes and jewelry and eat good food and be able to go places and experience things and ride an airplane for his first time and go ride a roller coaster and go into the museums and do these things. I wanted to give him that so bad. But then I realized hello, Victor, I was pressuring myself. See, those things were going to happen anyway because they were the nature of me. And I have to learn that. I have to learn that about myself. So that's what you need to learn about yourself is what I want you to look at for yourself. Where are you tendriling, tying the tendrils down in the possibilities of a different version of yourself through what we consider the natural parts of humanity, obligation, responsibility, and caring, right? It's not that you abandon them. I haven't abandoned my responsibility. I'm just not putting the pressure on me to be responsible, so I'm freed up. My money flows in. At the end of the month, I have not much money left at all. But guess what? I made it through the month, paid my bills and all the food. And then around the 1st, when the next month starts, people start paying me for the classes. And I'm back up and I can pay my bills for the month. And we can have gas money and do what we do. Right? And I learned that. I learned that by releasing. Hello, Eric. Thank you for the reminder of not caring is available to me. So I so needed this. Well, good, Ann. I appreciate that. And I'm glad you understand that. Because it's a big thing. It's, again, the polarized mind looks in opposing sides. So if you don't care, that means you're abandoning caring thing, and you're going to be down on this end of you're just a bullshit and you don't give a fuck about people, so you're a piece of shit. That's the ego mind. Pay attention. Remember, whenever you are transcending something, don't let the ego convince you the opposing side is the only place it's going to go, because it's not that. It's beyond polarity. You move into unconditional. I know no gods that care. But all gods love. And the moment speaks and attracts the highest quality of yourself if you allow it. But if you're running your will, yourself, through the filters of humanity, you will be bound to those frequencies and those experiences. Right? It's wonderful knowledge. It's wisdom. But you have to do the work yourself, and you have to see and deconstruct yourself bit by bit, little by little, over the years. God, when I first woke up and I was like, why can't I ascend? I know everything. Yeah, I don't know shit. I was like, yeah, I got this. No, why can't I ascend now? Yeah, because I'm full of belief systems bullshit. So I had to remove them day by day, piece by piece, with humility, allowance, ownership, and choice. So today's theme, class, is to find a version of yourself and always experience that version of yourself. So you'll become familiar with that version. And then you can make an intelligent decision if you're that person or not. And if you're not, then you'll stand on the dead corpse of that person and you'll be born anew. And you'll evolve and mature in climbing your way to the top of your own mountain. The Ascension, right? I think my thing is a little crooked. No. Anyways, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Anyone got anything for me? That idea, it's a very big pill to swallow when you recognize when you think something is right. I heard a line today. It was in a video game that we were watching on YouTube during snack time or dinner. It was called God of War. And Freya, this wonderful witch, and her son Balder, she put a spell on him that made him pretty much invulnerable except the mistletoe. But it took away all his feelings. Yes, it is a great game, Alex. And Freya said something. Balder, like Baldur's Gate 3, I think it's the same guy. Balder was trying to kill Freya. He was going to kill his mom before what she did to him. And here's what she said. I was only trying to do what's best for you. Are you fucking kidding me? I lost all respect for Freya because she's not a god. You know why I know she's not a god? Because that was a human. That was a human fucking statement. How many mothers, sisters, boyfriends, girlfriends do you try to change to fit your fucking world? There's another motorcycle movie called Motorcycle Riders, and it's Tom Hardy's 2024 movie. I rented it the other night. Wonderful movie because it was done in like interview and about this book that was written, and it was phenomenal book, real life made into a movie. Really cool stuff. And the wife said, I thought I could change him. Why'd you fucking marry him then? Don't marry someone to change him, to make him your little puppet or her your little puppet. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? That's what you got to look at in yourself. Why would you fall in love to make that person be the person that you want them to be? That's a fucking slave. The species will never evolve as long as we're doing that. And people will follow the rule and they will become that person the other person wants. And they will be miserable and they'll die in misery. They'll die with rot because they're full of fucking cancer because they never were their truth. That's not wrong. That's human. I'm talking to gods. So if you see that in yourself and you're trying to control somebody because you think what's best for them, you're trying to fulfill your void. Making your husband or your wife eat or say or wear what they should, that's not unconditional love. That's not unconditional love. I thought he had potential, says Kim. Never look at the future. Relationship ideas. When you are first courting in a relationship, be the brutal, honest version of yourself. Because if you put on a mask, you're only going to be able to hold it on for a while. And then once it starts to crumble and you can't maintain that frickin' avatar anymore, your whole marriage is going to turn to frickin' shit if you end up with that marriage or relationship. Be brutally honest and don't be afraid of loss. Because you have to become the version of the person you want to fall in love with so you can attract that person. Come on, guys. Where God's here, we're maturing. It's all about what's in here. It's in here. It's none of it's outside. It's the division here that lies within. We create our own reality through our interpretations, through our truths, through our beliefs, through our relationships. Right? We do. On a side note, and I want to end with this. This is very exciting. This is something that I heard. So I had two people that one was in my classes years ago, slide classes. For those of you who remember the slide classes years ago, we just changed the name. They're the advanced classes now. But anyways, and he had a friend that came to visit, and he's from Hong Kong, and he's going around the world, around the United States, visiting. Wonderful to meet him. We had lunch together, and he went to Sedona this last week, whenever it was, a couple days ago, middle of the week, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what day we met. Maybe it was Thursday. I think we met Thursday. So anyways, he was at Sedona. Okay. And yeah, you're welcome, Alex, anytime. So Bashar was on stage, and there were some rumblings in the audience. So you can see the stages of the spiritual world starting to divide, because it was one way before, but it's not that way now, it seems. So Bashar had said, listen to this, exciting. If Kamala Harris wins, then we will have first contact within 5 years. Open contact. Yael, Pleiadians, and Mantis are the three aliens that will make themselves known to the human collective, because it's a whole different frequency. If Trump wins, we get World War III. Because he thinks, I guess he wants World War III because he likes that division. He likes that chaos. He loves the chaos. And that's cool, man. That's his rodeo. So look at that. And the audience, a lot of the members in the audience did not like that at all, because I guess there's a lot of pro people because they think Democrats do this and pros do this. But see, that's not the battle. You don't make that the battle, because you create your own world. As soon as you lose the division, you don't care who's in office, because you create your own world. I think I'd rather be on a world that I get to hang out with aliens and you have a possibility of meeting one in the physical. That would be exciting. So I don't think the other one would be very fun, but it's not going to affect me. It won't affect me, because a cause and effect is an interpretation. So life doesn't become disappointing because something happened outside. See, that's the division. That's interpretation. That's experience. So there will be no loss for me, no matter who wins. There will be no gain for me, no matter who wins. I'm assured experience, though, because I am, right? Exciting times. I think that's why we came. because this is the most pinnacle time of humanity's awakening. Right now, this is where the convergences or the divergences happen, where the 3D and the 4D Earth start splitting. Right? Ha! I love listening to me too, Nicola. I'm kidding. I love you, darling. All right, guys, listen. It's about 7:30, and I think I'm going to call it an evening. And there's Sunday evening football, and too bad Bashar can't vote. Well, Daryl can, you know. And all right, guys, and I love you. We will see you next week, unless I do a pop-up or come up with some other video. And for all of you that join me that are in my classes, I will see you on Tuesday and Wednesday for all of you that join those classes. And that's it. If you need me, you know where to get me. Oh, yeah, by the way, if you want to donate to help support Roxanne, you can do so in the link below. There's a donate button, or my Odyssey of Ascension, of course, there's a donate button there. I love you guys. You guys go and rock your reality. Remember, the battle's in here. Okay? Oh, thank you, Nicola, for staying up 1:30 a.m. Good night, and you're welcome. All right, everyone. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for joining in. You guys go rock your world, yeah? I love you. Good night, guys. Bye.